Let's take a closer look at a typical day in the life of President Ibrahim Traore, exploring how he navigates his responsibilities as a leader of a nation in crisis, his interaction with both local and international forces, and his strategies for dealing with the myriad challenges he faces. Early morning, preparing for the day. The day of President Ibrahim Traore likely starts early. In a nation constantly threatened by terrorism and political instability, time is of the essence. Traore, like many military leaders, adheres to a disciplined routine. Rising early, he would begin his day by reviewing security briefings from his advisors. As Burkina Faso continues to face insurgencies from groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS-affiliated militants, security updates are critical to his administration's success. The insurgency has destabilized much of the country's northern and eastern regions, and ensuring that his government maintains control over key areas is a top priority. President Traore would also consult with his military advisors, as his leadership is heavily reliant on the military apparatus. Despite his relatively young age, Traore commands significant respect within the Burkinabe military, which has played a crucial role in his rise to power. His review of military operations in the country's hotspots would help him understand the day's priorities and potential threats to national security. Mid-morning, governing a nation in crisis. Following his morning briefings, Traore would move to the main administrative tasks of the day. Burkina Faso's interim government faces an array of issues, including economic instability, food insecurity, and social unrest. Traore must balance the demands of governance with the urgent need to address the humanitarian crisis exacerbated by terrorist attacks. In the mid-morning, Traore would likely meet with key ministers and advisors to review progress on development projects and ongoing reforms. His administration has taken a strong stance against corruption, which has plagued Burkina Faso's political system for years. During these meetings, Traore would be briefed on government initiatives to improve infrastructure, healthcare, and education, which have all been severely affected by the insurgencies and the mass displacement of civilians. The president may also discuss international aid programs with representatives of foreign governments and organizations that provide crucial support to Burkina Faso. Additionally, the president would likely review the state of the country's agricultural sector. As Burkina Faso is heavily reliant on subsistence farming, the disruption caused by extremist violence has severely impacted food production, leading to widespread hunger. Addressing this issue remains one of Traore's key priorities. Afternoon, military inspections and strategic meetings. In the afternoon, President Traore, a soldier by training, would focus on military affairs. He might inspect military installations or visit troops stationed in regions plagued by violence. As a leader who rose to prominence through the military, his connection with the armed forces is vital for maintaining stability in a country that has experienced multiple coups. During these inspections, Traore would likely assess the readiness of Burkina Faso's military forces to combat the insurgents. He might speak to commanders on the ground to receive first-hand accounts of the challenges they face in confronting well-armed extremist groups. His role as both president and military leader demands a careful balancing act, keeping morale high among the troops while also strategizing on how to make the most effective use of limited resources. Beyond military visits, Traore's afternoons could also involve high-level strategic meetings. These sessions, often held with his closest advisors and military chiefs. Evening, engaging with the public. In the early evening, President Traore might shift his focus to engaging with the public. His leadership is marked by a strong connection with the Burkinabe people, especially the youth, who view him as a symbol of hope and change. His speeches often emphasize national unity, resistance to foreign intervention, and a desire for a new direction for the country. Traore has demonstrated an ability to mobilize public sentiment through his speeches, where he mixes populism with patriotic fervor. He often addresses the challenges facing Burkina Faso, offering reassurances to the public that his administration is working tirelessly to restore peace and stability. Given the complexity of Burkina Faso's situation, maintaining public confidence is a key part of his governance strategy. During these addresses, he may also touch on Burkina Faso's foreign relations. Since assuming power, Traore has been vocal about his desire to reduce Burkina Faso's reliance on Western powers, particularly France, and pivot toward new alliances, especially with Russia. His rhetoric often reflects a desire to reassert Burkina Faso's sovereignty and independence in the face of what he perceives as neo-colonial pressures. Traore's engagement with the public extends beyond formal addresses. He is known to visit rural areas, where he speaks directly to communities affected by the violence. Late evening, international diplomacy and reflection. As night falls, Traore's attention might turn to international diplomacy. As a leader of a country that has been destabilized by regional and global powers, his ability to navigate international politics is crucial. He might hold virtual meetings with foreign leaders or attend late-night calls with international organizations such as the African Union or the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. His leadership has seen a growing distance from France and a move toward deeper ties with non-Western allies, such as Russia, as part of his broader geopolitical strategy. In these diplomatic engagements, Traore would advocate for more military and economic support for Burkina Faso, which is on the front line of the fight against terrorism in the Sahel. He would also seek to explain his vision for a more independent Burkina Faso, free from the neo-colonial influence of former powers, a message that resonates with many of his supporters at home. As his day draws to a close, President Traore might spend some quiet time reflecting on the myriad challenges he faces, leading a country as divided and destabilized as Burkina Faso requires immense resilience and determination. The toll of constantly being on alert for political or military threats, combined with the responsibility of making decisions that impact millions of lives, is undoubtedly significant. A day in the life of President Ibrahim Traore is filled with a relentless focus on national security, governance, and public engagement. As a military officer turned head of state, he embodies the complexities of leading a country, facing both internal and external challenges. His youth and his military background set him apart from many other leaders in the region, and his leadership style reflects both his populist tendencies and his strategic approach to governance.